We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Let's flip and go.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with.
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs worldwide. It's Ben, one half of the podcast, and today we got some stacked ass stuff to talk to you guys about. But before we get into that, like usual, Don, take it away, my man.
Yeah, this week we got a lot of wrestling news compared to last week's episode where we just did a whole episode talking about all the current champions right now in, professional wrestling. We got to dive into a lot of awesome news, but before we dive into all that, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already and you're listening to the podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you haven't checked out the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know the grind is real.
Yeah, man. Speaking of coming out of nowhere like an RKO, I'm stoked for Survivor Series.
I'm very excited for Survivor Series.
Yeah, man, even though you're not going to be fucking watching it, pussy.
And we do, I know, I'll explain that in a minute. But, all the maniacs out there, we do want to let you know that we have 2 watch-alongs. Later on tonight, I will be doing a live watch-along here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel for AEW Full Gear. MJF will be defending the championship against Jay White. And next Saturday, I will be missing another WWE Premier Live event because I'm going to be out in Brooklyn watching my team play the Heat. The only chance I get to, go with the boys to that. Ben will be covering it here on We Are Wrestling. Once again, holding down the fort, watching some good old Survivor Series. But I promise I will not miss the Royal Rumble.
But watch his team fucking lose when he goes all the way to Brooklyn. Watch his team fucking lose so when he could just be home watching Survivor Series.
Believe it or not, Ben,
bitch.
every game I've been to for my Brooklyn Nets, we have lost.
And you're going to lose again.
Probably.
In their own fucking spot.
The last time I went to Barclays Center in Brooklyn was back in 2019 for a playoff game. This will be my first ever NBA regular season game.
Who you heading out with?
So I'm going to Brooklyn with my buddy John, who you guys see on the watch-alongs.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to also be going with Jordan and Cash Out Sherm. And they're all Miami Heat fans, so that's why, we all want to go out. It makes perfect sense. Plus, man, we're in the New England area, so guys, we're close to Boston. And yeah, I can't stand Boston Celtic fans. I can't stand TD Garden. So going to Brooklyn is going to be
You can't stand TD Garden, but you were marking the fuck out in the middle of the arena last year.
Yeah. Just never go to a playoff game wearing a opposite jersey that's not Boston. Because I got slandered bad.
Oh, yeah, dude. Those fans are fucking, those fans are ridiculous in the sense of just saying belligerent shit on behalf of literally basketball. Belligerent shit over it.
England when it comes to baseball.
It's the verbal beer-holding abuse, The verbal beer-holding abuse, where they're, shouting at you from rows away holding their fucking beer cup because they're fucking wasted.
All right, so I do got to ask you, Ben.
Sorry. What up?
What's worse, pro wrestling fans or New England sport fans?
Oh, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one.
It is tough. They both are
Because
annoying.
I've seen straight up fist fights from fucking New England sports fans. Like I've witnessed just random fights break out in front of me because of a fucking argument they were having over something going on the television. Even after the call was already fucking made, and there's nothing they can fucking do about it, and they're fucking fighting. Yeah. But then again, there's
You see, I feel
plenty
like
of
New England,
toxicity.
I feel like New England fans, they are worse than pro wrestling fans because a lot of pro wrestling fans, they talk shit on this. Like when it comes to New England fans,
yeah, I'm gonna go with New England. I'm gonna go with New England sports fans. Yeah, that's worse. Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, so if you're looking to go on an exotic vacation,
Don't go to
come
fucking
to
New England. especially if you want to just randomly catch a game, just pass some fucking time and do something. No, because you might not make it out, and at least not the same person you went in.
But if you are trying to go on an exotic vacation and you do want to come to New England, make sure Blitzkrieg Pro is happening in the area. Because if you guys want to see, Ben and myself, we do go to Blitzkrieg Pro shows. We Are Wrestling. We're a proud sponsor of them. And if you guys have not checked out, the latest, Blitzkrieg Pro show that, already happened, even though we're recording this before, Ben and I go to Blitzkrieg, you can check it out on IWTV. We're going to be there front row.
Hell
and we
yeah,
got
buddy.
a really cool vlog, set for that. So definitely stay tuned.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Speaking of vlogs, We Are Wrestling. We just posted a new vlog yesterday over on the YouTube channel. AEW Collision vlog where I bought the cheapest tickets to an AEW show. Really cool experience. Recommend you guys to go check that out. But then every week we do this thing called the highlight of the week. And what's got to be your highlight this week?
So, in terms of highlight of the week, it's probably kind of small because we're going to be talking about it, but I'm kind of really intrigued as to what's going to be happening with this Drew heel turn. And I'm glad they finally pulled like the official trigger on it, and he's like officially a fucking heel.
Technically, because he hit that Claymore on Jey Uso, and then he shook Rhea Ripley's hand, which I thought was a really cool, like, cinematic ending to Raw, which we haven't got that in a while.
Oh, another highlight of mine, and it also pertains to the Judgment Day, is the fucking, just the audacity of Damian Priest saying that he was the leader of the Judgment Day. The audacity. He finally fucking said it. And everybody was just like, oh, shit, there's going to be some chaos being stirred up in this bitch with Rhea.
What about JD?
Mommy.
JD's an official member of the Judgment Day now, finally.
Oh, he is?
He finally, got accepted.
Why the fuck was he wearing white on Monday?
I don't know, Ben. I don't know.
Is he the fucking... Never mind. No.
He forgot his luggage. He forgot his luggage at the airport.
His luggage got lost.
So he had to borrow a pair of trunks like that one time with Edge. I saw this on social media. Edge went to a WWE live event, forgot his gear, so he had to wear Trevor Murdoch's trunks.
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Did you ever see Umaga wearing Randy Orton's trunks at a live event?
No, I did not. But I also saw fucking Edge wearing some fucking Canadian face paint and tagging with Umaga, and it completely took Umaga off guard and almost made him break character. Because he was just like, what? Because it said Canada across his fucking shit instead of Samoa. And apparently fucking Umaga almost broke a fucking grin in the middle of the stage, kind of when fucking Sami Zayn was on a live event and fucking looked at Solo. He was like, hey, he's my dog. And fucking Solo started fucking like, he had to like cover his face for a second.
There's like a whole compilation video on YouTube of Sami Zayn like breaking each member of the Bloodline. Though that's a pretty good compilation. Speaking of compilations, before I do give out my highlight of the week, we're less than 50 subscribers from getting to 5,000.
Hell yeah.
Once we get there, the MJF Try Not to Laugh compilation 2 comes out. And let me tell you, all right, now I've been putting this
Let me talk to you.
And it's going to be a lot funnier than the first one.
Hell yeah, man. I'm really, really excited to see it. Really,
Oh,
really excited.
we got double the independent clips. We got new AEW clips. We got all interviews that MJF is doing. We're really giving you guys like the best compilation possible, but you can't see it until we get to 5,000 subs.
So I'm not doing anything on my channel right now. As you know, I'm on hiatus, but I will like film a reaction to that and upload it on the We Are Wrestling channel for you. Like
Hell yeah.
I'll film that and I'll come out of my little cave retirement I got going on. So and I'll do that because that sounds like a good time.
One more vid. One
One
more
more
vid.
vid. One more vid.
Just like one more match.
TNA. TNA. That's what they're all gonna be screaming when I come back.
Or when
Just
Dom
kidding.
starts talking. Ah, boo!
Shut up! I'm
Shoosh!
talking. Oh God.
So my highlight of the week, I do have two of them, and the first
What are
one
they?
is from AEW Dynamite last
Okay.
night,
Okay.
and I not gonna lie, I had my doubts about Paul White, the Big Show,
Okay.
being being back on TV, wrestling and stuff.
Even
Well,
though
they
he
did
looks
this
like melted
really
ice
cool
cream.
street fight, and I really like the spot that they did out in the parking lot with Powerhouse Hobbs. They had him power bomb the Big Show. Like they kind of had him do like a Hulk Hogan slam to him, like onto a car, which I thought was really cool
Oh, cool.
because Big Show, like he put Powerhouse Hobbs over.
Yeah.
And like having him, do that to somebody so big, like, Big Show, especially with the accolades he has in his career. I really like that because obviously Powerhouse Hobbs, I think really has the potential of being a top guy. He just needs that, opportunity to get put over. And I
Yeah.
think that in this situation, Big Show made him look like a powerhouse. So I
Yeah.
do have to say
No pun
that as
intended.
like my highlight of the week when it comes to wrestling, on TV. But obviously, my highlight of the week has got to be the big event, New York. I was there this, last weekend with my dad for, my birthday. I got the opportunity to meet, some wrestlers. And this right here, I do got to show off here on the podcast. And I will be having a whole vlog coming to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, hopefully in a couple weeks, and a whole, haul video over on, the Best One Donnie channel where I'm going to show off everything I got signed. But this piece I am going to show to all the maniacs right now. We did get the Ringside Collectibles exclusive Hook figure.
Hell yeah.
And, oh man, so this figure is the first figure Hook signed for a fan
Ever?
ever. Because this figure did come out the week of the big event New York, and one of my goals, going to this event was to be the very first person to get this figure signed. And I do have it confirmed on video that this is the first one, and he also added the inscriptive to it as well. It says first signed for fan, because obviously at the convention, he did, I think, probably sign a couple of these for auctions and stuff.
Yeah.
But as a fan, this is the very first one that he signed.
Wow.
And I got it
man.
JSA approved as well.
And now is that his first is that his first figure he's ever had?
So this isn't his first figure he's
Yeah.
ever had,
Okay.
because he does have, a regular series one, which is
Yeah.
up on my wall somewhere, but this is his first Ringside Collectibles exclusive.
Got you. Okay. Well, that's badass, man. That's yeah. Fuck yeah, man. That's
Really
sick.
cool opportunity, man, to get
Fuck
this
yeah.
piece. This is a one of one. And just overall, I do have to say this about the big event, New York. I have to give a huge shout out to, all the vendors at this event and, the
Yeah.
whole, staff and crew, because compared to the last one that I went to back in March at the hotel, this one was a lot more organized. This one, there was a lot more room because they did this in a really big track, indoor track. So there's a lot more room to move around. The staff, they kept it more organized, and just overall, it was just a great time. Got to meet a lot of We Are Wrestling maniacs. And honestly, I was able to meet everybody except for Dennis Rodman. But that's not the big event New York's fault. The dude literally was supposed to be there like the whole day, and he only stayed for an hour, and he got mad that mommy, Rhea Ripley, had a bigger line than him, and he had nobody at his line for like maybe like 5 minutes. So then his ego got a little fragile, and then he said, fuck this, I'm out.
Oh,
Yep. So I missed out on meeting Dennis Rodman, but hey, I got to meet, everybody else that I wanted to, and it was just a great time. Great event.
fuck yeah, man. Good shit.
And
Some
I
people
can't
are
wait
built
for
for
the
it,
next
man.
one because they already teased it in March. And
Ooh.
they said it's going to be rowdy. That's the only clue that they gave. So I'm assuming Ronda Rousey's going to be there, but who knows?
Depending on who goes, I might go with you.
Hell yeah. You got it, man. The big event in New York is a great time, but the one thing I do recommend if any of the Maniacs or yourself want to go to this event, make sure you save up. Because these wrestling conventions, man, the vendors, it is expensive. And I ain't going to be buying myself a turkey for Thanksgiving next week. Let's just say that.
Hell yeah, man.
But
Hey,
now, with
it's
that
all the
being
passion.
said, let's dive into the weekly recap topics for the We Are Wrestling Podcast 83. Well, last Friday on SmackDown, we saw Asuka turn heel and join the Damage Control faction with Kairi Sane. What's your thoughts on Asuka joining this faction? It looks like they are,
There's more
expanding this
shit.
group.
But there's more shit afoot. Obviously, this has got some creative shit all over it. Because Asuka one has always kind of been heel lately. Ever since the Rumble, she's kind of been heel. So I don't really think it's called turning heel per se.
Yeah, I don't know why the
Um,
reporters are saying that.
Asuka is kind of a wild card in that necessity. She kind of just does whatever's beneficial, and it just kind of works for her. And she's just very naturally charismatic, so she kind of gets away with it, even with the fans. They kind of buy into it, But in terms of her turning heel, I think one, we're developing towards a War Games predicament here.
Yep.
Two, we also have a stable forming with Kairi, Io, and Asuka. So there's some inside shit going on, and Damage Control is going to be going separate unless it's just going to be Dakota Kai and Bailey. So I think there's more shit afoot, and I think they're eventually going to be doing some turning. But at the same time, I'm still stuck on the fact that Kairi Sane was eyeing down Io's title because I think the Kabuki Warriors are going to get together. If anything, I think that is going to be the scapegoat.
So
I think that's
Kairi
gonna
and
be 100%.
Asuka, they're gonna reunite.
Yes,
I
absolutely,
could definitely see that.
absolutely.
So here's the thing about this. This really excites me as
Fuck
a
yeah,
fan
dude.
because I've been waiting for a long time for WWE to have a dominant women's faction. Because obviously through the years, we've had a lot of, regular, factions like, Degeneration X, Nation
Yeah.
of Domination,
Mhm.
Evolution, the Nexus, and obviously, Judgment Day and Bloodline. But we haven't really had a dominant women's faction. But I don't want to get my hopes up because I feel like the only reason they're doing this is for a War Games match. Because obviously we know what it's going to be. Damage Control, Asuka and Kairi versus probably Team Bianca, which will be her, Charlotte Flair, and probably a couple other, baby faces on the SmackDown
Probably Becky Lynch and
roster.
Jade Cargill.
Probably.
Honestly, if
But I
Jade
don't
Cargill
know.
gets into it, dude, I'm down because that'll be her. I think that's what they're going to be doing is for her
Well, I did
official
hear
debut
the
will be Survivor
surprise
Series.
could be Becky Lynch. I did hear that.
She belongs in the
for the
match, dude.
SmackDown
She
for the War
belongs
Games.
in the match, and I think Jade Cargill is going to be the next one to join it because they're going to have her debut be kind of fucking huge. So I think it'll probably be announced on SmackDown tomorrow. So
Yeah, we're going to definitely have to wait and see what happens here, but it definitely interests me. I hope that this does go longer than War Games. I think
Yeah.
that having Damage Control as a dominant faction on the SmackDown brand, I feel like that could really elevate the women's division overall in the WWE. Because obviously, under Triple H, we've seen how successful the Bloodline's been.
mhm.
We've also seen how, successful Judgment Day has been. Everybody that's, came out of the Bloodline and the Judgment Day have gotten better.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
feel like Damage Control,
Absolutely.
they need some change. And I remember I was at your house. We did the live watch along for SummerSlam
Yeah.
when Damage Control, formed. And it was a very exciting time. And like they kind of blew it because obviously Damage Control, they weren't winning important matches. But now they have an actual chance of making this something,
Bigger.
serious.
Yeah.
Bigger. Exactly. And I kind of want to see what they could do with it.
Same, as long as they do it right.
But I am excited though. Asuka's finally, because I think for Asuka and Kairi and Io, being under, Bailey, I think that could really do a lot for them as well. And it's only gonna, make them even bigger through time.
Yeah.
But now speaking of, SmackDown last Friday, which man, SmackDown has not had this much, weekly recap in a long time.
Yeah.
We saw Santos Escobar finally turn heel and attack Rey
Buddy.
Mysterio.
Buddy, I am so excited with how they're, really implementing Carlito's presence now because he
I
can
love
still
it.
cut a promo. He
Mysterious.
can still talk on the mic. He's a babyface and he's seasoned now, which kind of has this more serious tone about him rather than just, a comedy gimmick, natural
Except the
asshole.
theme song still sucks.
No, the fuck it doesn't, dude. Now that is some ignorant fucking wrestling fan shit. Is
Even
the fact that you
Carlito
will
did not want to change his
No.
theme song.
No. Here's the thing. You have to understand something.
I know
One,
they want to be more serious.
They would
I
not
get
change
it.
his theme song unless it was an official full time run. 2, he's gonna be going out on a more serious note. He's gonna be doing a lot. So he's body now, dude. He's a body guy now. Fucking Chris Masters whipped that ass in shape, literally. Chris Masters literally whipped that ass in shape. So
Yeah, Carlito's
more
got to
serious
freaking get
character.
through the Master Lock challenge.
the dude, I see Carlito holding a title at some point. I could see him getting his Intercontinental title back at some point, and that would be fucking sick if he ever moves over to Raw. That'll
Even
be
the
awesome.
United States Championship.
Yes,
Eventually.
abso-fucking-lutely. I would love to see that happen again because he has not been a United States champion on SmackDown since the Cena days back in the Ruthless Aggression era.
2004. Man.
Exactly,
What
bro.
a
So,
time.
what a dude, fucking best time to be a wrestling fan. But that's besides the point. I love Carlito's presence again, and the fact that he is calling some literally some bullshit out in front of everybody is a very Carlito thing to do.
I will
but his
say,
theme song,
I
by the way,
loved what they
fuck
did
you,
in
I
the
love
match,
it.
because obviously, like with Crown Jewel, I wasn't there watching it live with you on the watch along, but obviously, I did watch, the show back, and
Yeah,
I loved how they did this. They
Yeah.
had Santos, sneak in the brass knucks.
yeah,
And then Carlito calls him out on the bullshit on SmackDown.
yes,
And then
and it was
eventually Santos
phenomenal.
turned heel. And it works out because unfortunately
Dude.
Rey Mysterio is sidelined with an injury right now. So this does make Santos look like a legitimate heel.
Yeah, and now it's gonna be him and Carlito fucking fucking feud, and I'm excited for that.
Exactly,
I'm
and
literally,
that is
and he's gonna put
perfect.
Santos over. He's gonna put Santos over, and I'm loving that. I feel like it's gonna be It's probably gonna be a series of 3, maybe if it gets serious.
Mhm.
And I see Carlito winning the first 2, but Santos throws him off.
Well,
in the
Rey
last.
Mysterio, it is, said that, his injury that he did have in the surgery, it's not a long recovery. It's going to be,
Yeah.
I believe, about 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So I think what they're going to do is they're probably going
couple
to
months.
build Santos versus Rey probably for WrestleMania. That's what I think they're going to do probably.
Maybe.
Or
But at the
Elimination Chamber in Australia too. That's another option.
I would say Australia because I think WrestleMania is going to be Rey Mysterio's last match. So, and I
Against
think it's going to be
Dominic,
Dominic.
probably.
Yeah. Now pertaining to the feud that's going to be eventually transpiring between Santos and Carlito, man, I'm excited. I'm super excited, dude. And again,
a lot of
Carlito can
potential
go
there.
for Carlito looks like he's built to go for a while. So I'm really, really stoked about this more serious tone they're giving him and the more like again seasoned, nuanced veteran type of feeling. And I really am loving this, and I never thought we were going to see this again. So I'm really, really excited with how this is going to go for Santos as well. Because again,
Yes.
we couldn't figure out what was wrong. Because Santos, dude, if booked properly, and if he can do certain things creatively on his own, it was finding the niche for him and the groove. And with this heel turn, it is flawlessly organic. It literally worked so well. And I like Santos, but I wasn't digging his personality
Yeah.
until Friday. until this past Friday. And I was like,
so
you know what?
here's what I want to
Yeah.
add to what you're saying here. And I totally see what you're saying because with Santos, he's always been a better heel. He's just so naturally good at it. But I think WWE, they were brilliant for not having him be a heel right away because, a lot of the times you need to adjust on the main roster. It's different
Yeah.
than NXT, and having
You
him
need to
paired
find your
up
groove.
with Rey Mysterio, who's one of the greatest luchadors of all time, that
With
was
the
a very
LWO,
smart
like, come on.
booking decision. The whole LWO, that was a very smart booking decision. And that is how, Santos has been exposed to the main roster. He's been on television consistently for the past year. And now that he's been established, they decided to put him over as a heel where he strives. And
Now,
now
let me
we're
ask
going
you
to be seeing
something.
the best work done by Santos.
Now, let me
And I'm
ask you
excited.
something.
Legado, baby.
Yeah, Legado del Fantasma. Do you think that they're going to be fucking coming back? Do you think
Yes,
somebody?
they are.
You think that there's going to be another
Yep,
heel turn coming up?
Cruz and Wild, they're turning on Carlito. They're
And-
joining. Yep.
Okay.
we're
Well, if
getting
that's the case, because I don't think Zelina will. I think
Zelina's
Zelina's going to
not.
stay back.
Zelina's still
Yeah.
going to be a babyface.
Yep.
I do think that.
But I think they're going to have to add, a couple more people to the LWO. And if so, who do you think?
Ooh, damn.
That's a good one. I'm sorry, but that's a good follow-up that we
Well,
got to talk about
there-
real quick.
Well, the original, I don't remember her name, but the original woman that was a part of Legado, she's still on NXT. So they could always call her up and bring back the original four, which I
Yeah.
think that would be really cool to see.
So now we're going to
Also, I could also see Rey Mysterio because I think eventually we could get a 6-man tag match. We get
be Rey Mysterio, Carlito, and who?
Rey Mysterio, Carlito, and Dragon Lee.
You think Dragon Lee's
versus-
going to fucking
versus
join
Legado.
LWO?
Yep.
Okay. All right, yeah, because he has
Hey,
ties
he's a
with Dominic,
luchador.
too.
He's
Yeah.
a luchador. Why not, have him be with Rey Mysterio, give him that same rub that he gave Santos. I think that you have something good there.
There we go. And that's a good way to call him up.
Man, so excited. And it's crazy
All
because
right.
I didn't even get to finish because I was going to say after the whole topic, what's your thoughts on this heel turn? But
here we
me and
go.
you, we're way too excited to
We got the
talk
script.
about this.
We got the script.
So now getting into Monday Night Raw, our last weekly recap topic, because obviously AEW had the go home show, and obviously I covered all that on the AEW Full Gear predictions video. This past Monday on Raw, we saw the official heel turn for Drew McIntyre joining the Judgment Day in War Games. This was your highlight of the week too.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on this heel turn?
It's about time. It wasn't dragged out super long. It was, pushed a little bit, and I'm glad they gave it time to cook and they really planted the seeds, weeks ahead of time, and they really let it simmer until the full boiling point. And the fact that I think it's not even just a one-off. I think Drew's straight up joining them because notice that when he shook Rhea's hand, it wasn't his theme song that started playing. It was Judgment Day's. So.
And it just naturally fits so good with him too.
I am so excited to where this is going to go because Drew has not been heel since 2020. He had his face turn at the Royal Rumble when he fucking won because he was technically a heel when he went in, and there was no teasing with him and Brock Lesnar until the fucking match. And the moment that he eliminated Brock, we knew we had a fucking winner. We knew we had a winner right there. We knew that whoever eliminated Brock was going to fucking WrestleMania. And we were fucking right because why? We have the script.
The script. That's gonna be our next We Are Wrestling shirt too, by the way.
We have the script. Yeah, let's fucking do it. But no, I'm really, really excited about it because heel Drew McIntyre is built differently. So I see a lot of dubs coming his way. And I also see a rematch with him and Seth Rollins where he eventually wins, and that's just a hot take of mine. Yeah, and Drew looked very happy on Monday. So I think we got some excellent things cooking up. I'm not gonna go ahead and try to book where he's going, but I think that'll be easier. I feel like that'll be easier once we're past War Games because that'll really tell if this is gonna be a long-term thing.
Or if it's just
but I'm
for
excited.
the War Games match. But I don't think it's going to be just for the War Games match. And honestly, I'm very excited about this. It's about time. And this is one of the heel turns that has a legitimate reason there's not like this isn't just
There's
a random
substance.
heel turn. Exactly. And I think having him hit the Claymore kick on Jey Uso out of everybody, that was a smart move because obviously Drew McIntyre hasn't forgot what happened at Clash at the Castle.
That's
I
why you
think
can't
that
blame a
also
motherfucker.
made a lot of sense.
That's why you can't blame a motherfucker. I'm sorry, but he had a
Rhea
justified
Ripley
reason.
Manipulate him. That also,
It's
know,
fucking
shows
mommy,
you're
dude. If she said,
dominant
"Hey,"
in the Judgment Day.
dude, if it's fucking mommy. If she says jump, you say how high. I'm sorry, but yeah.
there was this one fan, speaking of mommy, at the big event in New York, because obviously I got the opportunity to meet her. And
Okay, we
this
get it,
one
Donnie.
guy, it was like, this is pretty funny. So this kid, well, not kid, he's older than me.
Yeah.
But this guy, he met Rhea Ripley 4 times. Like it was a Six Flags ride. Like he kept getting in the crazy line that was looping around this whole track 4 times just to say, "Hi, mommy."
She must have been fucking creeped out. I'm sorry, but that's
out.
I'm like, are y'all seeing this right now?
And then,
Can
like,
y'all
the
make sure
person-
he's
and
not
then the
carrying a
person in
weapon?
front of me, they're talking to their buddy, and they're saying that, yeah, all I came here for was to see Rhea Ripley. And pretty much like they're in line like multiple times. So they would meet her and then they would go back to the Fitterman table, order another autograph or a photo, go back in the back of the line and pretty much meet her again. There's a lot of people that did that. I don't know why.
Anything to talk to her and get a couple minutes in, man. Like it just like
Yeah.
See, there's something that Karrion Kross said with the Chris Van Vliet episode that really stuck with me. Was like, Guy's attraction to Scarlett and the fact that he doesn't take it personally because like he's like, hey, I get Scarlett every day. And he's like, a lot of people, this is like their one chance, if they, I'm not gonna ruin that for them. I'm not gonna, this is like the only time and the only chance I'll ever get to speak to her, yet alone, anything else. So, why ruin it? And I really dig that approach. I dig that approach because there's a lot of fucking creeps out there. So I dig that approach, and I think that anybody that can put up with it, even though they know it's fucking creepy, and still be very, empathetic with the fan, I have a lot of respect for. So, good on Rhea.
And also too, like, that's the thing about, these, fans at the big event in New York. They also were paying repeatedly. And it wasn't like they were stalking her at the airport, which, we do not condone here. We had a lot of rants about that, earlier, in the year.
Yeah.
But getting back into, Drew McIntyre's heel turn, I'm very excited about this and the direction it goes in. And I really hope that this Drew McIntyre Judgment Day, they do win at War Games. I really hope that happens.
I think it's gonna.
Because Drew needs that
It
big
feels
win.
that way. And I think he'll get the final pin.
I think so as well. And just the way that they have done this for both War Games matches that they built with,
The heels have been winning.
SmackDown and like having, Drew at the Judgment Day, they have done a fantastic job. And honestly, especially like going back to the, Friday Night SmackDown last Friday with, Asuka, joining Damage Control. This has me more excited for this War Games match than last year's women's.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
there really wasn't any
meaning.
story to it.
Yeah, there's meaning to this one.
There's actual story, which, man, finally, let Triple H just cook.
Yeah, dude.
It
He's
makes
fucking, he's chefing.
It makes the weekly recap topics very therapeutic and really exciting to talk about.
Yeah.
But up next, we have the comment of the week and the We Are Wrestling weekly news. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 83.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben, are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back, and every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we do this thing called the Comment of the Week. And if you want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you got to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel or our social media pages and leave a comment. And this week, we have one of our We Are Wrestling Maniac members over on our YouTube channel at Angelo Rodriguez.
My dude.
86. And he commented this. I believe this was on the latest episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast. He said, I've seen The Miz live as a heel, and now at Survivor Series, I will see him live as a face. And I'm excited to see what The Miz and Gunter can do in the ring, because this is a new matchup for Gunter and a new matchup for The Miz as well. It's going to be one of the greatest IC champions versus the greatest and longest reigning champ, and making Miz a face in this situation is genius. And if he wins, I think he will be tied for the most reigns for the Intercontinental Championship, but we all know the ring general isn't losing yet.
That'd be fucking massive if he did.
That would be a massive
And I honestly wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad because I think, a face turn Miz is a very good thing for business right now. Because obviously his heel turn was just kind of getting a little old, and he was just
stale.
It's about time he's been put over rather than being the one to put people over.
Can I just say this?
What up?
Speaking of the whole Intercontinental, title scene, I gotta say, Ivar has been very impressive by himself.
Yeah, because Eric's
They're
on
actually
injury
letting
right
the
now.
man talk, and he's actually good on the microphone.
This might be a fucking career ruiner for Eric then.
I don't know. I think this might be a situation like Jay is better than Jimmy.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Than Eric.
I already knew that.
Throw up the graphic. But I do gotta say this, I will say, WWE, you're very smart for having Gunter recently, doing some of these interviews and saying that he feels like he needs to, upgrade his championship, and that his IC run has he needs the upgrade. I think it's kind of smart because they're trying to tease that somebody is going to take the championship from him soon.
Yeah.
But we all know Gunter is not losing his championship. The only way that the ring general is losing this friggin' Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship is if he vacates it.
No, I think somebody's going to be taking him at some point, and I honestly, I kind of want it to be Jey Uso, but we'll talk about that.
I think it's going to be Jey Uso towards
I want it
season.
to. I want it
to be. Jimmy versus Jay for the IC title.
Oh,
that's money
sweet.
right there.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But I think that this is going to be a great match for The Miz and Gunter because they both have completely opposite, styles when it comes to, the ring.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to put on a great match that a lot of people, I think, are going to go into it with low expectations because a lot of people think that The Miz, the only thing that he can really do is just talk on a microphone. But he is, very solid in the ring when it comes to the storytelling.
Oh, yeah, dude,
and I think that he's going to shock a lot of people with this match.
Oh, yeah, dude is seasoned as fuck.
And honestly, I cannot wait for this match, just like you, Angelo. But congratulations, Angelo, on the comment of the week. If you want your comment to be featured on a future episode of the podcast, all you have to do is leave a comment over on the channel or on any of our social medias. We're going to start picking, some of them over there because, man, we got a couple pretty good comments on the Instagram page on our Logan Paul video.
Yeah.
But now let's dive into the We Are Wrestling weekly news. And our first one, WWE is considering adding advertisements to the ringside area, similar to the UFC. What's your thoughts on this?
I don't care. I really don't. I mean, cool, you're going to give us some cool exclusive deals on some pretty cool shit, but I mean, it's been done before. Cool. It's just part of the merger. It's part of the process. They're literally owned by...
Now, from a business side, if you were a business owner, what's your thoughts on that? Looking at it from that perspective.
Smart, makes a lot of money. You're kind of investing in each other at that point, and all you can do is go up. So, cool.
Yeah, I think that, this one's a pretty short topic here, but, TKO, I think that this is a very smart move for WWE because more advertisements, more money.
More revenue.
And right now, WWE is the most profitable it's
It's
ever
ever
been.
been.
And doing this, I think, will just add more to it. And they're already, an established, company. They are, number one in this. Like, nobody's going to be taking it from WWE. And I have to say this all the time. I am more of an AEW fan than I am WWE, but nobody's taken the throne from them. They have been, running this shit going all the way back to Vince McMahon, senior in
Yep.
the WWF.
Worldwide Wrestling Federation, man.
But I am excited for this because it will, open up more doors. And I can definitely see AEW and other wrestling promotions doing this eventually as well. I know back in the day, TNA, when they had, the six-sided ring, they would do advertisements, on like the ring, like the mats
Yeah.
or what the aprons, right? That's what it's called. Like the
Mhm.
thing that's around like the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they would put like advertisements on the
Yeah.
apron. But I think that this will be pretty cool. But moving on now to our next topic here. Another one that you don't care about, but I'm sure, I'll take the reins and I'll cover it.
Oh yeah.
AEW and Allie, the bunny, have parted ways, and the decision was reportedly mutual. At first, with the reports, everybody thought that the Butcher and the Blade were also, parting ways with AEW, but they're still, on the AEW website. And I was at the big event in New York, and Allie was there, and her agent did, confirm with me that Butcher and Blade are still in AEW. She's not. What's your thoughts on this decision? Do you even know who she is?
Nope.
And that right there is exactly my thoughts on, the situation here. I am glad that Allie made this decision to, move on from AEW because, in my opinion, she's very talented. I feel like she needs to be seen by more, fans. And she hasn't really been on TV. So, like, that's why my co host here
Who
can't
fucking
really give
has?
his input.
Who fucking has, man? Like, shit. Nothing changes. They got 3 shows and still not enough fucking spots. Like, come on. They've got Ring of Honor
Yeah.
that nobody watches.
And I do think what's going to happen here, realistically, with Allie, I definitely see her going back to TNA Wrestling in 2024, probably at Hard to Kill. I think that, AEW, they're misusing her, and I'm glad that she's going out and betting on herself because instead of just sitting there collecting a paycheck, she's, going out and she's, pretty much testing herself. And I think that Impact, TNA, they really knew how to use her when she was there already. And I'm kind of excited to see her, what she could do with, more buzz in TNA, going into the new year.
Cool.
But I will say though, when her agent did confirm that Butcher and Blade are still with AEW,
He was like,
I
oh, sigh of relief.
Dude, I was actually pretty pissed off about it because I love the
mind.
Butcher and Blade, and AEW just doesn't use them. They
Yeah.
pretty much job, and they're so fucking
They're
talented.
toys that are just sitting in Tony's basement. We know this, man.
No, but like Butcher and Blade, they're like the toys that are like at the bottom of the bin that aren't even being touched, collecting dust.
There's a lot of those in AEW, bro. Like you said, oh, another massive signing. Like, okay, Tony, we get it. You're
There's actually,
signaholic.
speaking of a massive signing, Tony Khan before AEW Dynamite this past week tweeted that there's a big signing that's, happening, that they're going to sign their contract at Full Gear on Saturday.
Yeah, because it's fucking Dolph Ziggler, we know.
No, it's not, because he still has the 90 days, and I think his 90 days is up in the beginning of December.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people are speculating that it's going to be Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. At first, I thought it was going to be Flip Gordon because he like teased something on his Instagram page with like hats saying like he has a press release, and he pretty much tricked everybody and announced that he's signing with some Mexican company that I haven't really heard of.
Okay.
Yeah, but good marketing there. But moving on now to the next topic here. A fan on Instagram criticized the build for the Young Bucks versus the Golden Jets, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, as Nick and Matt Jackson are upset that Omega has been teaming up with Jericho as of late instead of focusing on their trio pairing. This has led to a friendly competition at the upcoming pay-per-view. The fan doesn't think this type of storyline makes someone want to pay $50 on a pay-per-view. Nick Jackson fired back at the fan, noting that other options was to not be featured on the card at all. It should be noted that the bout has a stipulation where the winner gets an AEW Tag Team Championship shot, but the Golden Jets will have to disband if they lose. So what's your thoughts on Nick Jackson firing back at the fans? Because this definitely has me thinking that there is, more issues going on in AEW if especially one of your EVPs, is firing back saying, well, we had no choice but to, wrestle Jericho and Omega, or just we have to sit on the sidelines.
Why couldn't you have just taken the humble L and just sat on the fucking sidelines? You're literally were EVPs, like putting yourselves in the main event constantly. Like, you really have to. Why don't you give the talent that's sitting at the bottom of the toy box time to shine and, take
Butcher
your
and
established
Blade,
ass,
we're
take your
acknowledging
established,
you.
yeah, dude, literally take your established ass and sit on the bench for a week. It's not that hard. Like, give other people time to shine. Your hairline is receding like a motherfucker. Your time has been spent in this industry. Let other people get some time. So honestly, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I can't feel bad for a young buck. I can't. I really cannot feel bad for a young buck, dude, especially when you put yourself in a position of power and it's like, okay, well, we're going to do this or we're not going to be on the card. So just don't be on the fucking card and let another more interesting match take the fucking slot.
Yeah. But that's the thing, about pro wrestlers that I don't really understand, and maybe you can give me a better answer so that I understand. There's wrestlers that they don't want to miss a show. They don't want to miss a pay-per-view or a Premier Live event because they think that, their stock's going to go down. They think that, the more time they're off TV, the less relevant they're going to be. And, they're not going to be, used properly. And that's the thing I don't understand, because I feel like there's times in wrestling where, the wrestler needs to take a break because they just become so repetitive watching them, repeatedly on TV. And I feel like, with the Young Bucks, they've been on TV so much, since AEW first started, that maybe a little break wouldn't hurt the team at all. And then, a couple months from now, when, they have their break, they come back and they're going to have more momentum. And I don't understand why a lot of wrestlers, they, do that. They're afraid to miss a pay-per-view or a Premier Live event because they think that they're going to become less relevant. And a lot of people, man,
That's
old
vanity
school
for you.
wrestling too. We heard a lot of reports, when we grew up in the Ruthless Aggression era with, wrestlers, wrestling with injuries because they didn't want to lose their spot on the card. I just don't understand.
That's vanity for you, man. That's vanity and ego for you.
Yeah, and I don't know, if I were the Young Bucks in this situation, I don't feel bad.
Listen, Roman Reigns is the fucking face of the goddamn company. That dude takes months off. You're gonna be fine there, all right, buddy? You old buck.
I don't know. I just think that, Tony Khan, there has to be more problems going on in AEW.
Of course there fucking is. We know that.
Especially with your, this is your EVP we're talking, an EVP.
He's not an EVP anymore. They're taking off the EVPs, bro. they're on their...
But they did post a thing on Instagram saying that they are still EVPs.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't care.
Hey, I will tell you something that we do care about. According to Fightful, there's reports that the last member of the Babyface War Games team, going back to WWE, Ben.
Yes. No, here's the thing.
Revealed. Okay, I'll let you.
Here's the thing. I'm not mad if it was an AEW subject. I'm fucking sick of the Young Bucks, and I never fucking liked the Young Bucks. So that's why I didn't care. AEW I could do all day, but
What
Young
grinds
Bucks,
men's gears? We have the Young Bucks and Roman Reigns.
yeah, that about
Also,
sums it
Shane
up.
McMahon's son.
Yes, fuck Declan McMahon.
All right, so according to Fightful, there's reports that the last member of the Babyface War Games team will be revealed on the Go Home episode of SmackDown, which will be next Friday to avoid any CM Punk speculations. And it's rumored to be Randy Orton as the final man on the Babyface War Games team. What's
Fucking
your
sweet.
thoughts on this?
Yeah, he's gonna join, but after that, he's turning on Cody apparently because that's what's in the creative. So, and then he's forming the new legacy with Brian Pillman Jr. or sorry, Lexus King and fucking I think Arn Anderson's son.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't. Brock's not under contract with WWE.
not yet, not yet. But that's apparently the long-term creative plans from through the grapevine, from what I'm hearing. So,
This is where you put your dollar in, and if it happens, you become a millionaire.
absolutely, and I'm actually gonna cash in on that because that actually kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, honestly, like, I can't wait to see where this goes. And from a business side of it, I do understand why WWE is going to do this because obviously everybody thinks CM Punk is showing up at Survivor Series. I
I'm
don't
one of
think it's
them.
going to happen.
I'm one of them, but at the same time, if
Not
he
happening.
doesn't, I'm not gonna be like pissed about it because I'm not like betting all my fucking eggs on it because again, I know that's a 1 in a million chance, but I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I'm also not gonna be like, yeah, it's fucking happening, So, if it happens, it happens, and I'll be shook. But if it doesn't, I'm not gonna be disappointed because that's not what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the matches. I'm looking forward to Randy's in-ring return. I have things to look forward to. So if that gets added on as another explosive holy shit, good for all of us wrestling fans.
That's pretty much just extra whipped cream on the ice cream.
Absolutely. You already know what's
With
up.
not one cherry, but two
But
cherries.
two.
So I do have to say this, like, WWE, they're smart for honestly, doing this because everybody in that Chicago arena, they are all expecting CM Punk to show up, and
They're gonna be very, very disappointed.
they are. So instead of, waiting to do like, oh, the fifth person's gonna be, at Survivor Series, let's not ruin Randy Orton's, return. So let's, reveal it at SmackDown, which honestly, I'm okay with because of the whole, situation. Because we all know them Chicago fans when it comes to CM Punk. We know how passionate they are.
Oh yeah.
Just like them New England teams, man, in our area. But yeah, with Randy Orton, I'm excited that we're getting so close to his return. Feels like forever since we've seen him. And the fact that he's not going to be paired up with Matt Riddle, finally!
Here we go.
Yes! We're actually getting the Legend Killer. We're finally getting friggin' Randy Orton back.
Yep.
The Viper. Let's fucking go. And honestly, I am open for a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton feud. That would be pretty awesome. But I am curious to see, though, what's going to happen, though, with Randy Orton and the Bloodline, because the last time we did see Randy Orton, he got injured and written off of TV from the Bloodline attacking him.
Well,
so it is
we'll
going to be
find out.
interesting to see, like, Randy and Jay. And
I think I think he's going to be delivering RKOs all throughout after the match. So,
oh yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens. Our last weekly news topic, somebody that we're very familiar with. Earlier this week, Brogdon Finlay, the son of David Finlay, reported to the WWE Performance Center. Getting to watch Brogdon recently at Blitzkrieg Pro. What's your thoughts on WWE signing him? And they also did sign this other guy that was doing stuff for AEW Dark, Jay Malachi.
nice.
But obviously, we're both not familiar with Jay, so we are going to be covering Brogdon Finlay.
I think it's funny that he told that he told Sherman "fuck you." I think that was kind of funny. I think he's a solid ass performer. I think he's got it. I think that he could be a great generational talent, and it's going to be exciting to see if he ends up getting offered a legitimate contract by WWE. I think it's going to be fucking really sick to see Finlay's son kind of bring it, and I hope he's got that same aggressive attitude in WWE as well. I think he's got it. in terms of what it takes to be a star. So I'm really, really excited, man. I'm excited to see how, he's built through the future. I'm excited to hopefully get some clean feedback as to how it all went and to kind of see where he's going to lie. And I think NXT would be his first bout, obviously, before anything.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but it's really exciting. It's really, really exciting knowing that somebody that we just saw who's also a second generation or right, third or
Fourth.
second or third, fourth generational talent rather, entering the big leagues. So that's always exciting. And like I said, when we saw him at Blitzkrieg, that was my first time seeing him. Solid, absolutely solid, and really nice dude outside of like the ring itself. Really, really solid dude.
Yeah, and guys, if you have not checked out the Blitzkrieg Pro, Create a Pro Wrestling vlog, it is up on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Brogdon Finley told our buddy Cash Out Sherm to go fuck himself because
Yep.
he said, hit him with the shillelagh. Roll the clip. We gotta roll the clip.
Where's the shillelagh?
Oh man, that's crazy. Like, especially for our buddy, Sherm to get to say that
Yeah.
a WWE superstar told him to go fuck himself. And he was mad about his Bullet Club hoodie. That's great.
Don't take
And,
that shit
seeing
off.
Brogdon Finley, this past year, he did, multiple shows for Blitzkrieg Pro. I also got to see him wrestle for GCW as well in Hartford, Connecticut this summer. I'm really happy for this guy. And I think that, the sky is the limit. I think, if there's anywhere that he's going to learn and grow, it's obviously the WWE Performance Center.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in, a very, generational family when it comes to,
He's in a good
professional
position.
wrestling. He's in a very good position. And honestly, like having Shawn Michaels, teach him and, Matt Bloom and, all those guys and girls at the Performance Center, I think that he is going to develop into I think he's going to be a solid mid-card, star in this business. And I
Facts.
think that that's okay. Maybe he might have it. He might have it and become a world champion and maybe, headline a WrestleMania. That would be pretty awesome.
Who knows?
But it's always so good to see, people in the independent circuit, start from the
Blossom.
bottom and
Now they're here.
blossom. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, boy.
And I just love like when that happens. And that's why, on We Are Wrestling, we highly recommend all the We Are Wrestling maniacs to go support independent wrestling because those
It's
are
crucial.
the stars of tomorrow. We just got to see this guy wrestle not that long ago. And now he is going to the WWE Performance Center.
It's been a month as of the 14th. So a month and 2 days ago, we saw him.
And man, congratulations, Brogdon Finley, on this opportunity. And Ben and I, we're cheering for you, and we wish you a healthy and successful career.
Yes, sir.
But up next, we have the Getting Put Over segment, and of course, our main event topic. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 83.
Hey, this is Flip Gordon. You're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Let's flip and go!
Collecting has always had a special place in my heart, going all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember my parents taking me to Toys R Us and waking up on Christmas morning to a bunch of new action figures. I had bins filled with thousands of rare WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA figures through the years until, unfortunately, I ended up selling my whole childhood without knowing the true value of my collection. 2 years after I made that horrible decision, the pandemic hit, and I realized there was a part of me that felt missing, and that was collecting. My whole life, I have loved collecting wrestling figures, wrestling memorabilia, classic video games, Nickelodeon stuff, sneakers, Funko Pops, and even Angry Birds. As time went by, I decided I wanted to get back into collecting, except this time, document it and rebuild my collection over on Best One Donnie. So, if you want to go back into time and relive my nostalgic memories, subscribe now. We're back, and every week on the We Are Wrestling Podcast, we do this segment called the Getting Put Over segment, where once a week, Ben and I, we alternate back and forth. We pick a superstar that is past, current, or future that we put over. Last week, I got the opportunity to put somebody over, and this week, Ben, who are we putting over?
So I want to put a disclaimer out there. First of all, y'all thought I was fucking kidding. I'm not. But the disclaimer is this will be the shortest segment of getting put over because I'm not going to waste too much time on it because of the circumstances. But I'm tired of pretending that Chris Benoit is not one of the best to do it in the fucking ring. So today we are going to be putting over the wrestler Chris Benoit, not the person Chris Benoit. So with that being said, what's some of your favorite moments, bud?
So if there is, some favorite moments of mine, from, the wrestler Chris Benoit, it's got to be WrestleMania 20 when he won the World Heavyweight Championship against Shawn Michaels and Triple H at Madison Square Garden. And having that moment with his son, Daniel, that was, a beautiful moment.
That
and then
and
having
also
him
with
and
Eddie
hug
Guerrero.
in the middle of the ring with
that
both
is
of,
an
the World
iconic shot,
Championship.
dude.
So iconic.
Like, that is one of the biggest moments I will echo through the halls of wrestling in general, dude. That's like when, the wins, and it was like basically a new chapter and a new era was happening because they made it feel so fucking big. And, both of those individuals were two of the greatest to ever do it.
And one thing, too, that a lot of people forget is that they both, came up together. And, they wrestled all over the world.
They were
Then
childhood
they both,
friends.
Came to WCW. And then, they both made the decision that, WCW wasn't the right place at the time because they weren't utilizing the cruiserweights and the smaller guys. So they went to WWE as, the Radicals. And, they've, really worked their way from the bottom to that moment. And seeing Eddie and Benoit, hugging at the end of it, that just shows that hard work pays off. Like, that's what I get when I look at that.
Both of them at the same time, simultaneously, in that one moment, were the top champions of the biggest wrestling company in the world. That is fucking started from the bottom. Now they're there shit. Like, that is the craziest shit. Like, who would have fucking thought? Like, who would have thought at the same time you would be the two biggest faces of the entire company? That is a beautiful bow on a gracious present, man. Like, it's unfortunate,
and it just shows that, like, hard work pays off because obviously, Eddie and Chris, they both gave everything they had to professional wrestling. That was
literally
their life. And for them, they had to start from the bottom and they had to work their way up to that moment. So when I look at that picture, seriously, anything is possible. Hard work pays off, but you have to put in the work.
Especially if you got a homie, man. Like, it's crazy. Like the shit that he's accomplished. Like, one of my favorite highlights of his entire career, and it's very, very small because a lot of people find it funny, but it's my first exposure to anything timed in wrestling. And it's when he was fucking whooping Orlando Jordan's ass every fucking week, and he would top every single time that it took to fucking pin his ass. And I think the last match that they had, and I think it was at like SummerSlam or something, 05, it was like 20 seconds or some shit. And I'm like, damn, he put his ass on the crossface and immediately tapped out.
Ooh, I will say a really good match that I enjoyed for Chris Benoit was him and Jericho, Royal Rumble 2001, that ladder match.
Yes, that was phenomenal.
Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, they had some great matches.
Classics.
Royal Rumble
Booker T,
2003.
him and Booker T's feud for the U.S. Championship was fucking great. Like, that was when feuds meant something. That was long-term shit. Like, that was like something that you were invested on when it still had quality over quantity, And it's just, there's so many great moments that aren't talked about anymore for obvious reasons and for justified reasons. It's just shitty. It's just very shitty. And again, we have not had another wrestler on the same planet that Chris Benoit was on when it came to like how they operated in the ring and how
he was
they
a different
performed.
breed, just like Eddie Guerrero.
He was, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, there's been nobody else that has come around that they're like them. See, I see a lot of Eddie and Dominic, and that's not just because of the fucking haircut. The dude in the ring is more so Eddie than his own dad. Like, if there's anybody that emulates that same type of energy, it's Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, no, I
But
totally agree.
But there has been nobody that gives me the same type of feeling as Chris Benoit gave. Except for one person. One person has gotten close, but he's not as like Chris Benoit, and that's Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, however you think about him, for me is the closest to Chris Benoit we have, even though that's still a far away.
Yeah, I think the only thing with Bryan Danielson is just he has the aggression, but like not that Chris Benoit.
Yeah,
aggression.
but I'm talking about like on terms of technicality, submissions, fucking like
technician work,
not the same aggressiveness and like the same like almost great stiffness, like seasoned stiffness. It's like almost like that full lock type shit.
He is the closest though to Chris Benoit.
If anybody
like
is
in ring style,
for sure, but like even that for me is still very far fetched. That's still a very very distant island for me. But there's been nobody else that's done it like him, which is again why I'm saying it's so shitty. But that's kind of where I'm zip now. I'm at this point. I've celebrated everything I wanted to. I'm tired of pretending that he's not one of the greatest to ever do it. Did something awful happen? Yes, but that's not what I was here to talk about today. But I'm going to keep it short and sweet on behalf of, the unfortunate circumstances. But I wanted to shine a little bit of light on his career because I feel like every so often it should be. That's all.
Yeah.
Because he helped pave the way. That's all.
And also too, like I do want to, shine some light as well on, his other son, David Benoit as well.
Yes.
And, his, family, that, have been affected by, everything that unfortunately happened that day because, their lives changed forever. And, David Benoit, like I would love to see him, get in the ring at some point, like I've got to, listen to, his interviews with, Chris Van Vliet. And, right now, the reason why he hasn't, like, he's already trained to be a professional wrestler, but the reason why he hasn't made that transition is because he does have a high paying job and he doesn't want to lose that job for professional wrestling. So he's not fully as passionate about it as, other people.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the wrestler Chris Benoit, nobody can lace, his boots. He is one of the best to do it in the ring. It is unfortunate, what happened in, 2007. And, my heart still goes out, to
his
Nancy,
family, friends, and everybody affected.
And, Daniel as well, and the whole wrestling community and, even his peers that were, affected by it because it is a very touchy subject to talk about, this guy who accomplished so much. And obviously, like his highlight in his career was that time where, he hugged Eddie Guerrero in the ring with confetti and fireworks at WrestleMania 20. And he's had a great, in-ring career. And it's unfortunate, what happened because, if that didn't happen, Chris Benoit, would be, acknowledged as one of the greatest technicians of all time.
Absolutely.
Easily, he would have been a WWE Hall of Famer. And he definitely probably would have been a great producer in WWE.
Absolutely.
But, so this week we put over to wrestler Chris Benoit. Next week, I get to pick somebody. And honestly, I think I'm going to go with an underrated wrestler that I do want to put over.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to spoil it here. I think
Let's
I'm
do
going
it.
to.
Let's do it.
All right. So,
you got?
Next week, I want to put over Season 1 Tough Enough winner, Maven.
Oh, Maven Huffman. Okay.
And the reason why I want to do this is because not only, he's been, he's had a great career in WWE, but he's also killing it right now over on his personal YouTube channel.
He is.
So I would love to put over his, in-ring career.
Let's fucking do it.
So we're going to be doing that next week.
All right.
Now, with that being said, let's get into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling Podcast 83. And our main event topic is about the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes isn't worried about The Rock taking his WrestleMania 40 spot. While appearing on Busted Open Radio, Rhodes told them that it would be outstanding if Johnson is a part of WrestleMania 40, but he doesn't think Johnson will take his spot against Reigns in the main event. Cody stated this: "You mentioned The Rock. Nobody has asked me about The Rock because I think they're scared to ask me or don't want to be rude. I'll say this about The Rock coming on Pat's show, which I was watching live because I love Pat, and then SmackDown and all of this. The Rock did for sports entertainment so much and continues to do so much by being the biggest star in Hollywood that I'm able to be at the level I'm at because I can stand on shoulders like those of The Rock. So he could have come on there and run me down, and I still would have had the highest respect for the great one. He's honestly a model superstar for anybody who wants to be super spect of all expectations. With that said, though, no matter what he said, anyone who did ask me, anyone who did confront me on it, I said, I'm not flinching. I'm not flinching, and I feel like if The Rock and I were in the same room, he would expect nothing less from me. If you think it's somebody else, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you know it's me." And that's the same attitude that The Rock had when he was climbing the ladder. I don't care who it is. If it happens to be The Rock, if it happens to be anybody who comes from this fray, a wonderful superstar like LA Knight, an absolute stellar performer like Sami Zayn, who him and I went toe-to-toe in a way last year, line them up, I'm just going to do everything I can to outrun them. I certainly am. And I mean this with the utmost respect to them. I wasn't shocked at all by Rock's big day out. What I would say is not flinching. If Rock's part of WrestleMania 40, that would be outstanding. He should be. It's The Rock, but I don't think he'll be in my spot. What's your thoughts on Cody Rhodes' strong words about The Rock and saying that he is not taking that main event spot from him and he's going to be the one to dethrone the tribal queef Roman Reigns?
Well, if they end up doing a Cody Rhodes versus The Rock situation and he beats The Rock, you already know that that's who is going to be officially dethroning Roman Reigns, because at that point he's gone through fucking everybody. So there's still enough time for a program with Randy, and there's still enough time for a program with The Rock. So, I mean, if that's where we're going, I'm fucking all on board, and I'm glad that he still acknowledges the respect, and even if he got slandered by the fucking Rock, he would still respect him. Like, that is A1 top shelf fucking professionalism, and
That's
that's also
right there.
somebody that definitely pays it forward to those that came before him. So I really excited for main event status, American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and I'm really excited for his future and where that lies. So this is definitely some good news.
I'm kind of glad that Cody Rhodes addressed this whole Rock situation because obviously, for months, even us, we were talking about it, with The Rock potentially main eventing WrestleMania 40 against Roman Reigns. And the fact that Cody Rhodes is going into this with that mindset shows that he is the guy. And I think that WWE, this is the man that needs to dethrone Roman Reigns. Like, Cody Rhodes is definitely, in the second run with WWE, has shown so much growth and maturity from, his last run. And I think that, with, The Rock and Roman, they can feud at some, point later on, but it doesn't need to have, the championship involved whatsoever. And I think that story needs to be finished at 40. Roman Reigns' title run is just so fucking lackluster.
Oh yeah,
We're sick of it.
It's been
He's not
stale
even
for 2
wrestling
years.
at the Survivor Series. And
That's a big five. That's an issue.
I'm not gonna be, and I know I'm not gonna be at the watch along with Ben for Survivor Series, but look, I am not the freaking champion.
Yeah.
Roman is the champion. And if you are the world champion, undisputed champion, and you've been the face of WWE for the past,
You should be defending it every big five.
you should be at every single Big 5 show. You should be on the poster. You
And at
should
least half of the other PLEs.
Exactly. And it's just fucking ridiculous at this point.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm glad Cody Rhodes is going into this mindset like this, because I think if a lot of other people were in Cody Rhodes' shoes, where, WWE, might have an opportunity to put The Rock in there, and, I think that a lot of them would fold and, be petty about that. But Cody, is going in there saying, you know what? I'm going to outrun Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I'm going to outrun, everybody, because I
That's
want
the type
this
of shit you need,
more.
man.
Like, he wants it more.
You want it, go
And
get it.
I love it. And now this is what I want from Cody. After this whole War Games match, this is the fucking Cody Rhodes I want to see on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. Bring this attitude. Let's finish the story, because I feel like this side of Cody Rhodes needs to be seen on television.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, man, we're getting so close to the road to WrestleMania. We're getting
can
so
almost see
close
it.
to the Royal Rumble, and there's going to be a lot of juicy things that we're going to be covering on, these next, episodes coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we close this off?
No, this was a perfect organic show, man. I enjoyed my time.
I definitely did as well, and it's kind of refreshing that we actually got some solid news this week. And, taking a break from the wrestling news last week, I think really, gave us this energy to, really go into it. And honestly, thought that this was a solid episode.
Hell yeah, guys. Hope you enjoyed We Are Wrestling 83.
I hope you guys did as well. But let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics and everything we talked about on this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button now. If you're listening to the podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. Later on tonight, if you're, listening to this on Saturday, I will be live for AEW Full Gear. I'm going to be doing a full watch along, watching the show. MJF versus Jay White. Might find out who's under that devil mask. And next Saturday, Ben will be live on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel watching Survivor Series with a potential special guest, because unfortunately I won't be there. And we do have lots of, content on the way. If you guys haven't checked out the Full Gears prediction video, recommend you guys to go check that out. If you haven't checked out the latest AEW Collision vlog, that's up on the channel as well. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you have not checked out the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. Ben right now is currently on a break, and myself, I am doing toy videos. New videos are coming out every fucking day over there, so go check that out. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.
Peace.